Well, our next guest is calling for an investigation by Congress or the Department of Justice into any ties between environmental groups and Russia.
Yeah, it comes as he is calling for the U.S. to become more energy sufficient, more energy independent, and points out that the Green New Deal, quote, paves the way in markets for Russia to sell its much dirtier fossil fuels. American fossil energy is so much cleaner and produced with so much higher standards, environmental standards and labor standards.
Yeah, joining us now to discuss is Senator from North Dakota and a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Senator Kevin Cramer. Thank you very much for joining us. Let us know a little bit more about this, because this also is coming ahead of President Biden's meeting scheduled for tomorrow with Xi Jinping.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. And you're right, the timing is interesting, although Russia's involvement in spreading disinformation through the non-government organizations disguised as environmental groups in the United States is not a new story. This is something that we've known for some time. In fact, in 2018, a House committee found evidence that this was happening. The Senate, under Democratic control, leadership admitted as much, that Russia was spending money in the United States to push us toward the Green New Deal. And at the same time, that opens up markets for them to sell their dirtier fuel. So that's why I say what's not benefiting, of course, is the environment, because frankly, opening up markets for Russia to sell its dirty energy while we are not in that market is like taking a bath in a pig pen. It's ridiculous. But what's worse, and what's really not so ironic, quite honestly, is that both Russia and the political left in the United States get to promote what they love most, and that is a social economic system. The Green New Deal is, let's face it, has always been much more about a socialist economic agenda than it has been about the environment. So, this has been Russian collusion with the political left in the United States for several years, quite honestly. And I think in light of this circumstance, it really does, I think, demand some sort of an investigation.
So on the one hand, you're saying, why don't we produce the oil here, get it out of the ground here, refine it here, instead of getting it from Russia? But is there something they're doing that's illegal that requires an investigation? Because I think a lot of people would be on board. Yeah, let's do it here. Is there something that is illegal that they're doing, or is it unethical? What's your explanation on that?
Yeah, and so I don't know the legality or illegality of it, Bob, which is why I think maybe Congress is the right entity to look at this from a policy standpoint, an oversight standpoint. To the degree that our government is complicit in some of this, I mean, I think that's worth looking at. Let's face it, you've got John Kerry, who is the climate czar, the global climate czar for this administration, running around the world telling countries not to buy American fossil energy, which then forces them into the arms of other fossil energy producers like Russia or others who don't have our environmental standards, don't have our labor standards, and certainly don't have our economic best interest in mind. And so it's just all absurd, and I think it needs to be fleshed out, quite honestly, because while he's doing that, let's face it, even in the light of this Ukraine situation, just earlier this week when he was down at the CIRA event down in Houston, the annual energy event, he said out loud on purpose, don't worry about those 2 million plus Ukrainian refugees. That's nothing compared to the hundreds of millions of climate refugees that are going to be the result of dirty energy. Well, again, that's all the more reason for the United States to produce it. Let me give you one statistic that I think is really important, particularly in light of Europe's need for natural gas, especially now that they're cutting themselves off from Russian natural gas. Natural gas produced by Vladimir Putin's Russia and put in a pipeline and shipped to other European countries through its life cycle emits 41% more greenhouse gas emissions than American natural gas produced, liquefied, and sent on a ship to those same locations. So it only makes sense if you actually care about the environment, actually care about climate, you're going to want more production from the United States.
And then, Europe not cutting that off until 2030, and without secondary sanctions, you have someone like China who can still buy the dirty oil from Russia, so it really doesn't do any good, our sanctions here. I do want to ask you about something else that you introduced, this resolution to transfer MiGs immediately to Ukraine, the transfer of those MiGs and other air defense systems to Ukraine. Tell us about that.
Sure. So here's what it comes down to. At every turn, our president, President Biden, has followed. He's not led. In fact, most of the time when he's done the right things, whether it's Nord Stream 2 sanctions or air defense systems, even anti-tank systems, it's always been late. He's either had to be led by the United States Congress itself or political pressure from other countries. And one of the things he's been holding back on, of course, is this transfer of these MiGs from Poland to Ukraine. Now, whether or not they're the thing they need at the moment, the most efficient thing they need, we can argue that all day long, but we do know this. Volodymyr Zelensky wants them. They believe it would help them. And here's why I think it's important. Whether or not they're going to have, dogfights in the air over the skies of Ukraine or not, we need to deter Vladimir Putin, not wait for Russia to do something bad and then we'll say, okay, then we'll give you these MiGs, or wait until they invade, then we'll sanction Nord Stream 2. We should be deterring him with preemptive action, and I think this would send a pretty strong message.
Or get him thinking about what is the other side going to do. Right.
That's
all right,
right.
Senator Kevin Cramer. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Senator Cramer.
My pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.